Hey you guys, it's Miss Arneson, and this is a video for those of you taking Science 242, which is called Free Vacay. The reason I decided to call this class this is because we're going to look at other biomes. I loved studying biomes when I was in school because I was basically like, oh, I'd love to go to any of those except for the desert. And I think that's because I live in the desert. So the desert is really beautiful and there's a lot of cool things here, but I like to go out and explore. So when I went and looked at what was in a tropical rainforest or what lives in coral reefs is basically like Nemo in real life. I love those things. And so in this class, we're going to study the different systems and the different ways that carbon moves through the biosphere. And we're also going to look at some ways that we can basically reverse our impact of climate change on the earth. So how can we be more sustainable? Unfortunately, I mean, we can't go anywhere in real life. You could go outside and see the desert, but I can't take you on any vacation, so this one's free because we aren't going to spend any money. Okay, a couple of things to know about the policies and procedures. I always recommend you read these. There are some policies and procedure videos that go over some of the things, but remember that you can't really fail this class as long as you do it. You can keep redoing things until you get a 70% or better, so as long as you're willing to try, you can get a better grade. Um, let's look at these academic standards. So remember, the standards are these things that are written out by the Next Generation Science Standards organization, and New Mexico adopted them, and they're written for teachers so we know what to teach. But the reason I link them here for you guys is so that you can look specifically at why I am teaching you anything in class. So I don't just come up with this stuff off the top of my head. I say, how can I fit this into a class that makes sense? And so you can see those directly yourself. But because they're so long and because they're kind of written in teacher language, I like to make an essential question out of each one. And all the essential questions are things that we're going to look at through each lesson. So no matter what we're talking about in class, you can always link it back to one of these two questions. Most classes have three, but this class is actually going to be kind of smaller as far as the amount of content we cover, but we're going to do some more complicated things in as far as graphing and measuring how much carbon we use, and then what would something like if we changed in Las Cruces, if we were able to I don't know, save gray water, which of course I'll tell you what that is in the class, then we would be able to have a lot more of that water saved, and we could definitely reduce our impacts of climate change. So we're going to look at those things really specifically. I know so far we've talked a lot of it about how the earth is being destroyed, or not being destroyed, right? How humans are making the earth really hard for humans to live on. So we're just making it more and more difficult for ourselves, basically. The earth will go on after we go extinct, but it's not going to be pretty when we all have to die of not having enough water and starvation. So I say we avoid that and we start taking action now, and you guys are the voice of that future. You guys are the ones that are going to make that happen, which is why I am privileged to teach you, and I like you guys, and I'm excited about the future because you guys are going to run it. So we're going to come up with those models and come up with those numbers specifically. So this class is still going to focus a little on climate change. That's going to be one of the things we look at, but instead of being doom and gloom about it, of course, we get to be hopeful and look for ways to cut back on human activities' negative influences on the planet. So I just wanted you guys to know that that's what this class is about. I will talk to you later.